Fire, the ultimate destroyer of property and people's lives. In New Zealand, the fire service attends over 20,000 fires each year, including nearly 5,000 house fires. Each year, between 30 and 40 people die in fires, and about 20 of those deaths are in house fires. By then it's usually too late and owners are left with a smoking ruin and, tragically in some cases, fatalities. Many of these tragic fire stories hit the headlines and may cause people to wonder about their own fire alarm systems. There is a fire alarm solution readily available today that will give you peace of mind. It is the Fire Denier, the fire alarm system of choice.
Fantastic, working with a brilliant actor on one of the most sort of pivotal scenes of the book and of the film. It was glorious for me because it helped me find who Bilbo was, you know.
I'll put you on the spot. I'm going to ask you to say hello to Wellington. It's Colin.
In tonight's program, we have got
Ding with the matuat tamai to the way tapu. Amen.
It's been under discussion a lot, hasn't it? Where people say, so tell me what's a family. I've put in submissions in Parliament where I've had politicians, particularly conservative ones, who said, so what's a family? And I wish you'd been there, Alison, with me, because what we so often find now is that when you begin to really think, so who has that connection by kin, but by relationship? It can be very, very diverse. And you will find as you increasingly become involved with mentoring, and most of you are probably already mentoring in some way, but you will be faced with complexities where children in our communities today are growing up maybe with 4 sets of grandparents, but they, as the relationships have changed, broken down, others reformed, blended and so on, that there's a whole raft of people who are actually family but that child may not have a connection with. Very sad in many, many ways.
Okay, we need to get all the servers right first. Okay. Right. Hang on, you got the cross? You got a candle? Okay. You got the candle there?
Yes, she has.
Alright, okay. And your little cassocks are far too short.
Far too long.
Or too long, okay. So what you've got to do when you get up there is trip on the bottom step, alright?
No problem, absolutely.
What else do we have?
Alright, we'll start with ministers of the Eucharist.
Well, the ministers of the Eucharist. Okay, who are the ministers of the Eucharist? Damien, you've been a minister of the Eucharist? Come on up there. You can be a minister of the Eucharist. Okay, we'll just have one minister of the Eucharist. You go back there. And now what? The proclaimer of the word. Right, we need a proclaimer of the word. Now, what order do you suggest them to be in? Altar service first. There's a little chap with a little lady with a cross. Okay, and we've got a server with a candle.
Now the proclaimer of the word.
Now the proclaimer of the word. Right?
Eucharistic minister.
Yeah. Right. And the proclaimer of the word. How do you want the proclaimer of the word to be holding their
Right.
lectionary?
Holding the lectionary with the binding to the right, both hands a few inches away from your chest, not held up like a banner.
Not up here. Why? Brian's seen it done in Rome. That's a dangerous precedent. You can take a huge step backwards.
Hello, my name's Anthony Gamboni. I own Gamboni's Deli in Wellington, and today I'm going to show you how to make a very basic but nutritious and delicious sausage and bean casserole, an old family favourite. Firstly, we start with sausages. I've got 500 grams of sausages here. You could use any sausage you like. It could be pork, it could be beef based, it could be whatever you like. These happen to be pork based, but like I said, any sausage essentially will do. So the first trick is to heat up a pan. Preferably a heavy bottom. This is a casserole, so a heavy bottom pan will do, or a casserole itself. So a little bit of oil on the bottom, not too much. Hot. And you end up with a dish which is unctuous and lovely and hearty, nutritious winter fare. There you go.
Dealing with conflict well is mostly about me. It's mostly about my attitudes and my dispositions. So that's where we'll start for the first part of today. So just take a moment or two to think about what is it about this topic that actually draws you here today, or is there something about conflict that really scares you?
Hopefully people are aware and no will, that parable of the talents from the gospel. But just very quickly to sum up, to recall that's the story of a man going on a journey and entrusting his possessions to his servants.
As Michelle said, I'm the Manager of Training and Development for NZSTA, based here in Wellington. I've been a trustee for 19 years on both primary and secondary school boards and have just come off 6 years being chair at St Pat's College Silverstream. So I did have 4 weeks of non-trusteeship, and then a board rang me yesterday and asked to co-opt me, so I'm back on a board now. So I did have a very brief time of not being a trustee, not long enough to know whether I enjoyed it or not, but certainly back into the fray. So number one, congratulations everybody, and especially those of you who are new trustees.
Suzanne Irby was born in a small village just outside of Lyon in 1835. She was born into a family where she was the only daughter and the 3 brothers. And this is post-revolution France. Then saw the need for a soup kitchen, and interestingly enough, it was for working men having difficulty holding down a job because they were so hungry. By the time the wife and the children were fed, wages were poor, and of course there were no family benefits and things like that. So the soup kitchen has had quite a journey over the years, because it's now been in existence 103 years this year, and it's moved from for working men and then for people that we know as the old alkies to a range of need today, and unfortunately is as much needed today in 2004 as it was 100 years ago. So when she died, she was very well known in so many circles. that the judge, she had a very good friend who'd been in Chapman Tripp and had helped her form a trust for the order, became a judge in the High Court, and he closed the courts, many shops closed. It was the biggest funeral there'd ever been for a woman, and probably the biggest funeral ever since for a woman. Photographs show the crowds at her funeral.
Her years were heavy upon her. They dimmed the light of her eyes. They bent the grace of her body. She sleeps, but soon will rise.